I see it, that difference between 666 and 7 happens within you as much as it happens within the world. Your desire to be in control of yourself and to understand yourself perfectly, and to like really be changed, be what you want to be, like all of those sort of ideas, is like you're really, if you pay attention to yourself, you're not in control of yourself, but maybe like 40% at best. Like so much of you is just not within your control, and it's never going to be within your control. But it's the journey to try to do that that compels most of us forward. If you're trying to unify all of the archetypes and you're trying to discover all the different aspects of yourself, in the end, the last step becomes facing the dragon. And the dragon actually rises up within you as you've tried to put all the archetypes together and become more aware of yourself. Your ego will now be so inflated that you think that you now are the totality. And you will then become this negative force in the world at that point, and a negative force to yourself, because you're so learned, you understand yourself so well, you really think you know yourself, that now you've left no room for anything else to come in. And in some sense, that's when you actually face like the penultimate battle of whether or not you become aware that there's more than just you. The way I think of it is like when the self, which we'll say is just a placeholder for Christ in this story, actually shows up after you've done all this work and went on this journey, it's so powerful being in contact with that it's likely to completely destroy you, because it's like touching God. It's like meeting God. It's the Old Testament idea of meeting God, where there's nothing you can do in that presence except be obliterated. But you've spent all this time creating a body of self, of ego, from all your different archetypes, that what's going to happen is it's going to rush up against it and try and devour that divine thing as well. Like all of your selfishness is going to come up and go, actually, I know all of this about myself and I can even take this over. And I think the only way true integration happens is when that moment comes, if you're willing to completely submit to the other thing and be willing to let it destroy you, if that's what it comes to. All that study, all that form may help you like create the same shape as the real thing, but in the end, the real thing still has to come in. And if the real thing doesn't come in, then you're going to destroy it. And to me, I think that's what Christian and anti-Christian is. In some sense, anti-Christ is a necessary part of the pattern, because it's us reaching to God and trying to replicate the pattern. But at some point, you have to accept that the thing itself is beyond your best shaping of it. What's interesting is a lot of those miracles that are like really ridiculous, like, oh, they walked on water, or oh, like an angel appeared before them. In the lives of like saints and elders, they're often like a very drab miracle from their perspective. It's like, I really needed to get to this village to help these people, and I like walked across water. They don't then go and like tell the whole world and write a book about the time they walked on water and like blah, 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 blah. They're just like, I'm just so glad that happened so I could actually help. Like that's where they're coming from. I'm reading a book right now from class by Robert Greene called Mastery. And one of the concepts that it really focuses on is the idea of like getting trapped in technical lock with your brain and only thinking about things as they're going to play out consistently forward as they have backward. So it's like nothing's going to change. The same things you use continue to work the way that they continue to work. And anomalies don't occur and miracles don't happen. Like that's a way your brain gets trapped, and it's your brain doing it. It's you doing it. You can like alter the way you think, and it does increase opportunity and your ability to move in the world. Like just being willing to like let go of your jargon and become the fool is the only pathway out of that trap. In some ways, it's like the only way out of the matrix, whatever matrix you're in. No, I just think it's really important to remember, like, you're gonna be the fool one way or the other. So like, if you just embrace that, one, it takes the sting out of it a bit when you embarrass yourself, or when you realize you're the fool in a room full of people who knew way more than you or something like that. But living in that, like, so many people teach you not to live in that and to avoid fools, and that fools are dangerous and all these things. If you can live as the fool, you also gain this like beautiful ability to see fools as not something to be cast off. Like the fools that, you know, you're like, oh, maybe we should get them out of here because they're not going to help the project or whatever. Like, fools can be very powerful and very useful, and they can experience growth too. So like, don't write them off.
You know, the fool might not be the smartest, but he's got the most courage. You know, he's the one who's willing to be wrong. So yeah, hopefully this encourages people to be willing to try something dumb. Hold my beer.
Yeah.